No matter what others believed, Barney and Betty Hill remained adamant about the events that occurred that life-changing night in 1961. They were driving when they encountered a UFO and alien beings abducted them, taking them aboard a spacecraft. The next thing they knew, they were in their car 35 miles away, with only confused, fuzzy memories of even traveling along this section of road. Though reeling from their shared experience, the couple successfully arrived at their home by about dawn the next morning.
They cannot account for the time, from the time they saw that craft and the little creatures until they're back on the road.
As the Hills tried to come to terms with their extraterrestrial experience, they had some odd sensations and impulses they could not readily explain.
After the event took place, she started having dreams, successive dreams, in which she saw in her dreams she was approached by men or a humanoid type of men.
Betty notices that Barney he was always hypertense, high blood pressure, but he's really feeling sick. Then the oddest thing, these pimples show up around Barney's genital area. He doesn't know why they're showing up, and he's in pain. Go to a doctor. He explains to the doctor, I don't know what that rash means. I've never seen it like that before. But other than that, you're physically fine. I mean, you have high blood pressure, but other than that. And Barney says, I have these dreams. I can't, they're destroying my mind. Betty tries to bury it, but the next day she tells her sister. She tells the whole story. And they say, look, I don't know what happened, but oddly enough, other people besides Betty and Barney have seen that UFO.
In order to make some sense of the incident, the Hills agreed to undergo hypnosis therapy. Betty was able to draw what she believed she had seen.
Betty started remembering things through her dreams that she realized that she had an encounter, a physical encounter with an alien being.
So they go to a psychiatrist. Barney tells the story, and Betty tells the story of missing time. And the psychiatrist says, I know exactly the person to whom I'm going to refer you. His name is Dr. Benjamin Simon. Very famous psychiatrist, because Benjamin Simon was one of the first psychiatrists to invent the treatment for what they used to call shell shock, what in World War II was called battle fatigue. Now we call it PTSD. And he was a specialist in having people relive, usually through sodium pentothal, reliving that moment of trauma. In this case, he does hypnotic regression, past like a regression on both Betty and Barney separately. Because the one thing you don't want to do is have one spouse's story contaminate the other spouse's story, even though Benjamin Simon is very skeptical. So Benjamin Simon has them tell their stories. And he records their stories on a tape recorder. And he has an assistant transcribing those tapes.
During this hypnotherapy session, Betty and Barney both remember being abducted by aliens and also being medically examined by these aliens.
Barney tells the story of putting a suction over his genital area to try and suck out his sperm.
What part did they play this? They took me and carried me up this ramp. I was laying on the table and my fire was open, and I thought, are they putting a cup around my private parts?
Betty explains how this examiner inserts a long, thin tube into her womb. Well, we know that today that's amniocentesis. But back in 1961, we didn't have amniocentesis.
Daddy, take a day, look at my face, look. And I'm crying and I tell him it's hurting, it's hurting, it's hurting. and he put his hand, rubbed his hand in front of my eyes, and he says, I'll be all right. I won't feel it. Till all the pain goes away.
She strikes up a conversation with the examiner, and he says, well, here's where we're from, and he shows her this twin star system with a series of planets that have lines. And she says, well, what are the lines? He says, well, they're the trade routes. So in other words, it's not just that they're not from this planet, but they're trading with other planets not from this planet and other species. This all comes out in the tapes. Finally, the transcriber is flabbergasted by what she's reading. So what she does, in a breach of medical confidence, I might add, she takes the transcripts and goes to a reporter for the Boston Traveler magazine. He realizes, holy cow, I have the story of a lifetime. And he sells the story to the newspapers. Now, two people who wanted to live anonymously, in privacy, an interracial couple at a time when interracial marriages were prohibited by law in some states in the United States, suddenly, where do they wind up? On the cover of Look magazine, the poster children for alien abduction.
The story of Betty and Barney was about to take on a life of its own. But was it life from Earth or another planet?